Homegrown Radio.
Today we're joined by two special guests. We have other guests that will also be joining us, but this is the beautiful Californian white rabbits. These are, and that is the chocolate chinchilla. Mm-hmm. These are breeding rabbits. We keep rabbits on the farm. There's a huge demand for rabbits for either pets or even meat because they've become such a highly sought after protein source. But these are our breeders. We keep them for people that are looking for pets. Rabbit breeding is one, very fulfilling, and two, it's rewarding. Fulfilling in that they are just such lovely animals to take care of. They're easy as long as you keep their space clean, you give them fresh, clean running water all the time, and you give them their food, you watch that they don't gain too much weight, then you've got a beautiful, happy animal that is not going to give you any stress. They're not as susceptible to disease as many other animals. So the beautiful thing is that we don't have to be pumping them with medicine. And so, for example, if they get an ear infection, we use a tad of vinegar and some olive oil and just a drop each in each ear, and do that every 5 days, and voila, the issue is gone. As long as you're keeping their spaces clean, they tend to do quite well.
Yes. And we just forgot to introduce ourselves. Welcome to the Homegrown Food for Thought segment. As we have said before, we are doing a creature profile on our rabbits, as does explain there. We use them for the pet trade and sometimes for meat, so they're very lucrative. But one aspect that we haven't spoken about is that rabbits make really good fertilizer, and this is because, for whatever reason, rabbits do not complete their digestion. The manure is very rich. The manure is
unlike pigs.
Yeah, unlike pigs, it's very rich in nitrogen. But today we're going to talk about a few of the things that you might not have known about rabbits. Firstly, most people think that rabbits are related to rats and rodents and whatnot because of their teeth, but they're not. They are part of a completely different family, where your rats and your mice are part of the group Rodentia. Your rabbits and your hares and your picas, which is a large South American rabbit, almost the size of a small dog, but they're part of the group called lagomorphs. So the only reason that they have almost the same tooth structure as rodents is because of a concept called convergent evolution. So all that means is they came up with the same solution to the same problem. So although they are two different animals, they employ the same tactics. We can think about it as a bird that flies, but also a bat that flies. Two completely different animals, but they came to the same solution for the problem of locomotion. So that's the first thing. So yeah, they are not related to rats at all, if that is anything that you're concerned about. Secondly, many breeds are hypoallergenic. As much hair as they do have, it won't irritate somebody who is sensitive to animal dander or any of that kind of thing. Then a simple
Sorry, you're saying it won't or it won't?
It won't.
Somebody who's asthmatic, would they struggle with the... Because I know that asthmatic people can't handle cats and so on.
Yeah, they would not struggle with the hypoallergenic breeds. So it's up to the prospective pet owner to do their due diligence and research into finding out, okay, no, this is the breed that has been bred, so it is hypoallergenic. This is the breed that can best accommodate my situation. Rabbits, they are social to an extent. Unlike hares, hares tend to be solitary. Hares tend to be larger. They may look the same, but once you see both of them side by side, you can see the differences.
I think we actually have a hare. We'll bring a hare.
Oh, you do? Yes, okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll see the differences there. We breed rabbits because they're prolific. So you breed your rabbits instead of your hares because rabbits make a lot more babies than your hares would. Your hares maybe do 2 or 3 in a season. These guys can do 5, upwards of 5, even on a good doe. funny aside.
Whilst you're talking about them, whilst you're on, I'm going to go and get another, place this baby away and bring another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm going to bring a sable and a hare.
A sable and a hare. Perfect. So most people don't know what the technical term for rabbits are, or for the genders at least. So the males are known as bucks. The females, like this one here, she's actually pregnant now. Yeah, she's known as a doe, and the babies are known as kits. And I'm not sure if you can see here, but she has this little pouch under her neck, almost looks like a collar. That's called a dewlap. And what they use that for is essentially to keep their kits warm. So when they do have kits, that dewlap, they can pull hair out of that dewlap. It's a very soft, downy, warm hair, and they'll line their nests with that. And so essentially they make their own bedding for their kids.
So they pluck a whole lot of hair and create a huge bed of fur for their babies, and they lay their babies in there. So we prepare little nests inside the room for them so that they can go there and get privacy, and then they pluck all of this. All I just usually do, Musa, is I place some grass so that they have the layer of grass, and then they do the rest. They are very nurturing animals, very, very nurturing. So this one is the hare that you're talking about.
Yeah. So
this one takes forever to breed.
Oh yeah, no, but as you can see, even by the demeanor of the hares, hares just tend to be a bit more timid. They're not really social, so social settings are not their forte. You can even see by I'm not sure if you can see the facial structure. Like a hare, almost has a longer face, doesn't really get so fat. But hares tend not to dig as well. So rabbits here, your does would dig a burrow, or they'd make a warren, quote unquote. So they dig a network of tunnels, and then she'd pick one tunnel and then make her nest there, and then there are tunnels where they sleep and all of that. But yes, it's only rabbits that dig, and hares do not. So when you see these guys sleeping in a flower bed, or when you pass by and they jump out, just know you're dealing with a hare. You're not dealing with a rabbit, because these guys, they have places to go. They are good underground. And so those are the main differences between hares and rabbits.
Ooh, this one's not happy with being held.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and bring in another one. So this is a hare. I wish I could actually, let me just see if I can quickly get it to stand on the table without trying to run. Oopsie. So you just you grab the top of the skin. Look at the size of this hair. Look at it. It's a nice profile there. It's not happy. He doesn't want to be here.
He's large, but he's skinny.
Look how shiny, and so we try to not keep them too weighty. So we don't want cholesterol. We don't want the issues of liver. Rabbits tend to get
overweight,
liver problems if you overfeed them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get others.
So they have a few kits. They do pretty good turnover. I think they got 2 or 3 litters in a year if all conditions are met. So she can be pregnant and have babies another 2 times this year if all goes well. Those babies grow up pretty fast. They're not on milk too long, so you can switch them over to fodder, almost put them out like a conveyor system. And although she is on the larger side, this is a brown chinchilla, correct?
That's a chocolate chinchilla.
Chocolate chinchilla. You do have your giant Flemish rabbits.
Flemish giants.
They get fairly large. They'll get larger than your Jack Russell, Yorkshire Terrier. They get larger than.
We've got 2 on the farm, and both of them have just had babies, so they're both nesting. So we didn't bring them out. This one here is called the American Sable. She's very feisty. So I don't know how much joy I'm going to get with putting her down here. She's very feisty. So there we go. So this is the American Sable. She's got a lighter color down here. Not happy. Young American Sable. Also very healthy, very shiny fur. Eats well. Very, very feisty, very strong rabbit. Grows very big as well. This one is still fairly young. So it's called the American Sable. They fight if they don't have all 4 paws on the surface. They don't like to feel like they are suspended in the air. I'm going to take this one back and bring another one.
And so this is one of the reasons we're breeding this chocolate chinchilla. As you can see, she's very calm. She's not as high strung as the other rabbits that we've put out here. So this would make a good pet rabbit. But she does get fairly large, so you'd have to accommodate her with food and what have you. Another misconception that we can demystify here is that rabbits love carrots. No, that actually is not the case. Too many carrots are actually very bad for for a rabbit. So they eat mostly grass. They eat mostly hay. Your fruit and your veg are good every so often, but they eat predominantly grass. And most people don't know that. So some pet owners just end up overdoing it on the carrots. Not saying that they can't eat them, but it's not the best thing for them. It's like feeding a child only sweets. When they need like a well-rounded nutritional diet.
This guy here is called the giant chinchilla. See, big gray, and the name speaks for itself. Giant chinchilla, very healthy rabbit, thick fur, beautiful. Very far better temperament than the American Sable.
So as you can see, the chinchillas are relaxing out here.
This is the gray giant chinchilla. So this and that are the same rabbits. Let me just see if I can place this one on the table without her fighting too much. Be nice.
Cool. She's cool.
She's gonna jump. She's very fussy. That's the chocolate chinchilla, and this one is called the giant chinchilla. Beautiful baby. Very playful. She's very playful.
And so what many people don't realize is as small as pets as rabbits are, they are higher maintenance than your cat and your dog. You need to make sure that all their needs are met because they don't do very well. So when you can provide all those things for them, they make very good pets. You're gonna need your regular vet visits. One thing you will need, similar to your dog, is some kind of brush, because as you can see, they shed a lot. So like if you don't want hair all over your everything, just make sure to keep up with their grooming.
I'll relieve you of that one now.
There you go. So. And this
beauty here is called the New Zealand Red. Oops, feisty. Okay, relax. I didn't get too long enough.
You see all the hair coming off of there, So just make sure to keep up with all of that.
Another thing that is very, very important. Unfortunately, I'm so grateful. I'm not allergic. I don't have the sniffles and stuff. Another thing to make sure you do, we are very fussy on the farm about this. We spray and make sure that the place is disinfected twice a week, because there's just so much handling as well. So twice a week we disinfect the place. We make sure that we clean our hands before we go into the area. We apply alkaline dust. I can't remember the name, but we place that so that they don't get the ammonia of their urine. We change their urine pads every day so that they're not getting that strong ammonia smell into their noses.
If you can harvest that urine, it's also good for fertilizer.
I'm getting the fur in my nose. So we make sure that we do that all the time. And then for odors, I got a whole lot of fur on my lips. For odors, we mix sodium bicarbonate, vinegar, and vanilla.
So you have a nice vanilla.
So it's a nice disinfectant as well as it just gives a nice. And then we also have sound, as you'll see the sound bar that just gives them that sound. It calms them in their rooms and it just helps them to be less anxious. Rabbits don't like thunder, like many animals. They don't like thunder and they don't like sudden noise. It's not good for their heart. And when they have been frightened, a sudden scare, they could lose their babies if they are pregnant. So we try to keep noise. We try to keep a consistent noise, not too quiet, so that they can always hear noise and not be too overwhelmed when there is noise. So this one here is our New Zealand Red. This one's gestation period is a bit longer than, for example, our New Zealand White, which I'll show you just now. So this one's gestation period, you would think that it would be quicker, but it's roughly sometimes just 35 days, whereas the New Zealand White gestation period is 28 days. The chinchilla, the gray chinchilla that I had earlier on, that is 3 months, 90 days of gestation. So they take very long to produce babies, and they produce many, many babies. And because they're such good parents as well, they tend to get all their babies up, unlike the bullfrog, which loses most of its babies.
One thing that pet owners need to be cognizant of if you are looking to get a pet rabbit is your rabbit can get bored. So you need to provide it with some kind of enrichment, whether it's some kind of toy, something that makes noise, but you also need to provide it with some kind of chewing matter because their incisors do grow their entire lives. They need to wear them down. So they have an incessant need to chew on something hard. So you need to make sure that you provide that with them, lest your furniture or whatever else that is around suffers. Because if they don't, whoops, there we go. There goes it. So if you're not able to provide that chewing matter for them, their teeth can actually overgrow and start growing into their mouth and into their skull. It's all very nasty business if you can't keep those teeth in check.
Yes.
But yeah, who do we have
here? So they all
here?
have plastic bowls that they can chew into, or a container. They also they can chew into thin pieces of plank as well, as long as it's not treated with something, just raw plank. That usually helps. This is a 3-month-old New Zealand white. She's still fairly young, quite feisty. These are the ones with the 28-day gestation period. They breed quite often. They're very, very active breeding-wise. So, we tend to get a large number of these. Oopsie. Okay. Calm down. Okay. So it's not very friendly. Very, very cute. And you can see the ears are all clear and clean. We make sure that we prevent that the mites, the rabbit mites. We make sure that we see this one. This rabbit is quite mature. She's over a year old. Not a single mite issue in her ear. So that's a sign that you've got good rabbit keeping on the farm. I always say that there's certain issues or ailments that you find with animals that can tell you whether or not you're doing the right thing. And our rabbits are disease-free. We're very happy about that, and we'd like to stay that way. So I'm going to bring the last guy out.
So another thing to keep in mind is you want to vary your rabbit's feed. So as Des is going on from point to point, I will remember something else in the other is as much as they get bored with physical activity, they also get bored with food. So try to vary your food. Although your staple is hay and maybe alfalfa hay, which we do have, vary their treats. Give them something new to try, but make sure that you do check online or do your research as to what is good for them and what is not. The same way something as delicious as chocolate is toxic for a dog. There are those things that are also toxic for rabbits and what have you. So just make sure you do that before attempting to feed your rabbit anything new or fresh.
Especially with greens, you don't want to feed your rabbits greens fresh from you want to first wilt them a bit, just so that they're not too strong on their stomachs. This is called this is a pendula. There's different types of pendulas. This is one of them. She's got a bit of a white underneath here. So this one was given to us by one of the farmers. We're not sure yet exactly, so we've sort of not bred her or crossbreed. Another thing is we don't inbreed or crossbreed. We just like to keep them as pure as possible. This guy here, we a bit of at a confused state with him. We're not quite sure exactly what he is. He's somewhere between you get a pendula that is this color. You also get a sable, but she's definitely not a sable. The sables, these sables would actually get a coloring underneath here, a light brown coloring. So she's definitely not a sable. So she could be a pendula.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's yet to be seen. Yeah,
we're not sure. So we don't mix her with. We don't really want to put her with others because we don't want to crossbreed. So I think we've presented all of our babies, except for the dwarfs that are busy breeding, nesting, as well as our
Flemish
giants. Next time, I think we'll have a Flemish giant
hopefully
with us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
This is it. Today's series on our rabbits on Homegrown Farm.
All right. See you next time.